सो आज है 5 मई एंड 14 दिन हो चुके हैं पहलगाम अटैक को होके। सो अभी हम लाइक वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस ऑल द न्यूज जो अब तक हमें मिले थ्रू आवर रिसर्च एंड थ्रू न्यूज एंड ऑल द मीडिया हाउसेस, एंड उसके रिगार्डिंग हम डिस्कस करेंगे और उससे रिलेटेड जो भी हॉट टॉपिक्स अभी रेज हुए कंट्री राइट उससे भी हम डिस्कस। सो विल स्टार्ट विद द न्यूज़ जो अब तक हमें मिले, जो पॉइंट्स जो बोलते स्टेटमेंट्स जो हमें मिनिस्टर्स के मिले, जो भी हमें न्यूज़ मिले वो हम डिस्कस करेंगे।
So basically, this attack was happened at 22nd April 2025, जिसने इस अटैक की वजह से जो इंडियंस के वाउंड्स होते हैं उसको और बहुत डीप पे भेजा है। बेसिकली ऑब्वियसली ये एक अगेंस्ट ह्यूमैनिटी वाला चीज़ है। जब ये चीज़ हुई तब पीपल उस एरिया में घूमने गए थे। पहलगाम इज अ रियली गुड प्लेस टू गो, ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज इट इज़ इन कश्मीर। इट्स कश्मीर इज कंसिडर्ड एज हेवन ऑन अर्थ, जो इंडिया में है। I myself really wish soon to go and visit Kashmir for its scenic and all, but उस दिन के बाद बोलते ना कि एक थॉट माइंड में आता है कि मेरे को जाना चाहिए कि नहीं जाना चाहिए। ऑब्वियसली इन नियर फ्यूचर आई वुड फॉर श्योर गो, बट स्टिल वो एक थॉट दिमाग में रह जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द इंसिडेंट्स, बिकॉज ऑफ द न्यूज कमिंग आउट, बिकॉज ऑफ द unnecessary events happening over there. uh, उसकी वजह से माइंड में एक थॉट आता है, is it worth going for? Obviously it's worth going for, but फिर क्वेश्चन आता है बिकॉज कुछ भी हो सकता है। पीपल जो उस दिन उधर घूमने गए थे पहलगाम में, उनको नहीं मालूम था कि शायद उस दिन उनका लास्ट डे हो सकता था इस अर्थ पे। they were just having the normal time, everyone were like वो was having fun taking photographs, हॉर्स पे बैठे थे वो, ग्लाइडर्स से थे, मीन्स trails पे थे, they were enjoying, they were having really good time. But all of a sudden 5 people, 5 armed militants, 5 not normal people, armed militants का मतलब जिनके पास हथियार होते हैं, हथियारों से लैस होते हैं वो लोग, इन सामने जो टूरिस्ट लोग थे।
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट बट जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स और आई विल से फोर्सेस ने जो बोला है कि लेट्स नॉट टर्म देम एज मिलिटेंट्स, लेट्स से दे डायरेक्टली एज देम टेररिस्ट। ओके।
या सो जो 5 armed terrorists थे अकॉर्डिंग टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, दोज मिलिटेंट्स वर नन अदर देन टेररिस्ट। वो आर्म्ड थे, हथियारों से लैस, एंड दे जस्ट केम ओवर देयर एंड बिफोर शूटिंग एनीवन, उनका क्वेश्चन था कि आप कौन से रिलीजन को बिलोंग करते हो। एंड आफ्टर एन आंसर जिसमें many of the people who answered a religion name that is Hindu, they were shot dead. I mean, obviously there were other people of belonging to different religion were also shot. The reports में आया कि there were एक दो क्रिश्चियन को भी गोली लगी है and they were dead. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ injured हुए हैं. There were one two Muslims who also got uh, hit by the bullets and they were dead on the spot on the day. That's very sad knowing कि क्वेश्चन पूछ के मारा उनको। चलो क्वेश्चन पूछा, व्हाट वाज देयर नीड टू किल पीपल? अभी टेररिज्म एंड टेररिस्ट का एक ही चीज रीजन होता है, आइदर इट इज अ पॉलिटिकल थिंग या फिर कुछ उन लोग को आइडियोलॉजी, जब वो डोमिनेंस से किसी पे थोपनी होती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप जस्ट नॉर्मल कहीं पे होते हो, आपको अपना बात मनवानी, आप पहले प्यार से नहीं करता कि आपको ऐसे उसी मोमेंट पे आपका कुछ करवाना है, आप ऊंची आवाज में बात करते हो एंड आप बहुत डोमिनेंस दिखाने का ट्राई करते हो। दैट दैट इज बेसिक लेमैन लैंग्वेज में अगर टेररिज्म को हम डिफाइन करें कि भाई एक पर्टिकुलर आइडियोलॉजी को किसी देश, किसी इंसान, किसी एरिया, किसी सेक्शन पे थोपने के लिए वो आर्म्ड तरीका यूज करते हैं। दैट इज नॉट दिस अ वायलेंट वे, दिस अ मोस्ट ब्रूटल वायलेंट वे, बिकॉज यू आर जस्ट हिटिंग समवन, यू आर टेकिंग समवन्स लाइफ, एंड टेकिंग समवन लाइफ इज नॉट इन आवर हैंड एंड इट शुड नेवर बी इन आवर हैंड। तो उस दिन हुआ एंड जैसे ही ये इंसिडेंट हुआ, वीडियोस जो उधर थे, द पीपल हु आर रनिंग टू सेव देयर लाइव्स, उधर के लोकल्स जो थे, ये उधर हेल्पिंग, the वीडियोस रील्स वायरल हुए हैं एवरीवेयर, यू कैन चेक इट आउट ऑन द न्यूज चैनल्स, आपको सब जगह मिल जाएंगे क्लिप्स। As soon as the authorities came to know about this, let's before coming on the authorities, when this attack happened, the locals over there, that is the Kashmiri people, helped these tourists जिनको सर्वाइव होके निकले उधर से, उनको कैसे भी पेड़ में छुपा के जंगल के रास्ते से लेके गए। कुछ हॉर्सेस से, कोई जो हॉर्स राइडर्स थे उन्होंने शायद उनको हॉर्सेस से हेल्प की, नहीं तो एटलीस्ट उनको लेके गए, बिकॉज लोकल्स को ज्यादा मालूम होता है ना कौन सा रास्ता कहाँ से निकलता है एज कम्पेयर टू टूरिस्ट। और तो सब सीधी बात है, ऑब्वियसली जो लोकल्स बोलेंगे तब उस टाइम फॉलो करेंगे। तो जो लोकल्स थे उनकी हेल्प से जितने एटलीस्ट जितने भी लोग बच पाए आफ्टर दैट इंसिडेंट, उनको बाहर भेजा गया। एंड before coming on to the government authorities, this was a very good thing, a sign of humanity of people living over there, regardless of what they belong to, where they belong to, no matter their name, caste, religion, कुछ नहीं, regardless of anything, जो humanity होती है. They served free services for few days for all the tourists to escape or to move from Pahalgam to the nearest airport stations so that where they can be safe. And the locals assured one thing to the tourists: we are here to help. We are not causing any harm to you. We are here to help. And this was the support from the locals. So this is a really good sign of humanity. Even at that moment of time, at that 0 hour, still there were people who were helping the locals as well as the survivors. Now coming to government officials and the news coming out. As soon as this news came out and government of India came to know about it, the PM of this country was on a visit to Saudi Arabia. He left that visit and came back to India. Since he was not over here, he gave instructions to the home minister to reach that place as soon as possible. And the home minister reached Sri Lanka at that moment of time by taking an immediate flight from wherever he was there. As soon as he came on the site, with the help of police officers and other official security forces like armed forces, like there are many armed forces stationed in Kashmir and all other the people. They, there was a strict is a very small word I would say, but high tight, very high tight security over there in order to ensure that this does not upscale. जितना
Hmm.
लॉस हुआ उतना भी नहीं होना चाहिए था, बट इसको और अपस्केल ना हो। तो जो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस थी उधर जो डिप्लॉय थी, जब हेल्प पहुंची उधर, जब इवन द होम मिनिस्टर ऑफ दिस कंट्री रीच दैट प्लेस, तब वो बहुत एक्शन फास्ट होने लगा। देयर वर सोल्जर्स रनिंग फ्रॉम हियर एंड दैट इन ऑर्डर टू मेंटेन दैट चेक पोस्ट, टू चेक दैट no terrorist should escape from there. And all this was the initial thing, and news channels with their reportings updating the whole country about this. Most saddest is a small word to describe what happened over there. But yeah, so these were the initial steps taken by the government officials at that moment of time. And as soon as PM of this country arrived, there were meetings held by the highest top ministers of the country, as well as including not only ministers, there were including defense minister, there were highest position authority members of army, navy, and air force over there in that meeting. So terrorist attack, and it was not by terrorist attack होना ही नहीं चाहिए, किसी देश में नहीं होना चाहिए. I'm not just talking about India, but thing is, concern is कि why it happened, उनका motive क्या था. As I mentioned in the start of when I spoke कि एक ideology को impose एक put थोपने के लिए. Here the ideology they choose कि they ask people their religion, on the basis of that they shot them down. And those terrorists, as mentioned by the government of India, those terrorists were trying to just impose an ideology that affecting that particular section of the religion. This was the initial things which happened on that moment of day. And as soon as this news came out, as soon as the moment came out, it spread all over the country, all over the state, all over the world. Various international allies of India, including US President, Russian President, France, UK, and all other respective good allies of this world with who are in touch with India. They sent in their condolences and even talked with the prime minister of this country and told and had a conversation that terrorism should not scale more. It should be stopped. Obviously, it will take time, but strict actions has to be taken. Strict means, as I said, strict is a very small word. The actions has to be taken, and which will be taken would be more than strict. And other consequences of this effect, this saddest event would cover you later. And what other international allies of India, what support they give, we'll talk about that soon. Handing over it to Yash.
Yeah, so let's start with what was the purpose of it. So, like you said, कि उनका purpose था to impose a ideology, impose. Let's not be so diplomatic about it. We can say they want to just eradicate or impose the Muslim or Islam ideologies on people. or they had some personal revenge for Modi, because as per some testimonials, uh, by a elderly lady whose husband got shot during that incident, when she asked for the death from the terrorist itself, he said that ask that for the Modi. Another thing I think, that is my personal opinion, that it is a psychological. It the purpose of terrorist attack was to give a
Yes, on the
psychological scar
minds of.
such that
Hmm.
people will get traumatic about this event. Kashmir will be vacated due to this event, so that no tourist will claim to go to Kashmir, and it will be easier for Pakistan. I'm highly imposing Pakistan to take over the remaining Kashmir, which is in the control of India. That's my
Yeah, that's
opinion regarding the purpose of the attack. Now there is another rumor going on that the military forces, reached very late after the event happened. So what are your thoughts on that?
can you pardon the question? Can you repeat?
So there is some rumors going on regarding Indian forces or Indian army reaching there late after much later the event happened.
Yeah, so regarding that, as even in many eyewitnesses spoke about this, it took, I don't know accurate amount of hours. It took 3 to 4 hours for security forces to reach over there. Jabki everyone knows Jammu and Kashmir is a state. It's a, I guess is the only state of India, except from the northeastern states, where there is really high security forces, including the state police, including the other regiments of Indian Army, as well as some section of the special forces who are present there in order to maintain peace and in various areas where it's which are very vulnerable to attack. And the 4 hours, the time which was mentioned by one of the eyewitnesses, it was I just wanted a thought how it took 4 hours. In my view, it's like 4 hours is a very really long time, long amount of time, बिकॉज 4 घंटे में वो लोग जो टेररिस्ट है वो एस्केप इस कितना ही टाइम लगेगा उनको हटने से देर आर पहाड़ियाँ जो एरिया
बेसिकली
अगर आप
अगर वो
देखोगे
इंडिया में इंटर कर रहे हो इंडिया रीजन में, सो दे also have some exit track. Obviously, every
हाँ
operation is
ऑब्वियसली हाँ
done with an
हाँ
exit track.
हाँ, वो लोग कुछ दिमाग लगा के ही आए होंगे ना नो मैटर व्हाट दे डिड वाज वेरी अनसेंसिबल एंड थिंग वाज व्हिच अफेक्टेड as you mentioned कि it's a psychological scar on the minds of people of the victims as well as not only on the victims हमारे दिमाग में भी मतलब सोच के ही मतलब ऐसा होता है कि भाई not no words how I express that because that is not expressed by words. People who have faced that, just God bless them
uh,
and their families. So as
Sorry
you
to interrupt.
mentioned regarding security forces,
Yeah,
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 security
go on, go on.
forces that 4 hour lab. This shows a sort of, according to me, my opinion, this shows a sort of security failure over there because भाई 4 घंटे नहीं लगने चाहिए थे. We don't know the statistics. Just my opinion, I would say कि 4 घंटे is a very long time. At least local police should have reached, apart from security forces, at least local police. जो जब ये वीडियोस बाहर निकले तो ऑब्वियसली उधर भी निकले रहेंगे. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि सिर्फ इसी एक सेक्शन में दिखे हमको, तो उधर भी गए रहेंगे. तो why it took time for the local police authorities or the local security authorities who were present in the at that time, it took how much time? Sort of, I would give some more evidences ahead regarding this sort of security failure, because recently when the actions taken by the government of India, many things came out in news and that would be just shocking. So we would come on that. So, but yeah, security should have reached as early as compared to the time given by the, because many people were injured, means निकल सकते थे in case कुछ help पहुंच जाती थी, means vehicle help, not on horses पे लेके जाना is difficult. Because of the travel mode they could have died on the spot. कुछ vehicles होते ambulance या cars and all, तो still जो wounded people थे जो still थोड़े जिंदा थे और वो आज शायद जिंदा होते. So yeah.
So yeah, the the entire point of the discussion is it's been 14 days since the event. We have got many testimonials of from kid. who was paid by the terrorists to give him a traumatic experience, to give him a psychological scar, as we discussed. We also got testimonials from, like I said, the elderly lady, and also we got images of the events. But still, the politicians of our country are more focused on giving speeches and giving some sort of political relief or diplomatic relief rather than taking some stand proper actions, uh, which I think they should have taken. I appreciate that they took the decision about suspension of industry and all the other implications they added.
Yeah. Uh,
But
Sorry
still,
to
I
interrupt
would,
on this.
yeah, yeah, yes,
I would like to add 2 points over there. As you mentioned, the actions taken by the government, so the government of India as well as the state government present over there, very closely in a discussion. So this from the central government, the actions like the Indus water treaties with Pakistan has been suspended, and at that immediate effect, not like I said, 2 दिन बाद कर देंगे, immediate effect it has been suspended. Also, the borders are closed from everywhere, like the Wagha border, which is present in the Punjab side, the borders which are connected to Pakistan, the entries where there are checkposts and all, it has been closed and it has been strictly closed, as well as the airspace to Pakistani entities, as mentioned by the report given by the authority while announcing these actions. The airspace is closed, so no flight, not even a normal civilian flight or a commercial flight, फाइटर जेट्स या तो वो तो दूरी की बात है आर्म फोर्सेस के इंडिया में एंटर नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज इफ इट दे डू इट्स अ वायलेशन ऑफ द thing and it may lead to fatal consequences for the flight or any object which is flying enters which in India, which will be a very fatal consequence for them. So these were the and one more thing, the high commissions of India were taken, as well as the high commissions of Pakistan in India, like ambassadors and well given some few days to leave the country, as well as the higher Indian officials were brought back from Pakistan, from the Indian embassy present over there in the respective states over there, as well as the High Commission were completely closed in India. जो पाकिस्तान के थे उनको completely close किया है and उनको एक वीक का टाइम दिया था जाने के लिए. As well as later major other announcements came and it has been implemented in almost all the states of the country. The non-Indian citizen, the non-Indian citizen, I specifically mentioned Pakistani citizen, uh, had to go back have to go back, not have to go back. There was a statement from the authority, have to go back to their country back within a given time span. First May it was mentioned in the authorities while they were speaking. First May के पहले उनको इंडिया छोड़ना पड़ेगा. No matter what for what reason they are here, no matter any reason they need to leave the country as soon as possible in the mentioned date. These were the core actions taken by Indian government at that immediate moment of time. Yeah, you can continue.
yeah. The actions I am talking about are the militarized actions. Uh, in my opinion, it is purely my opinion that as they terrorized the people of India through their actions in Pahalgam, we should also likely do something similar to that in on, only in if it is feasible. Only in POK is also okay. It is a purely an opinion of Indian citizen. I am not completely aware about the diplomatic or geopolitical pressure India may have. Since Pakistan is Islamic country and there are, I guess, 50 Islamic countries, so India may also get some geopolitical pressure to strain some or to suspend those war-like tensions. But do you think the current wars-like situation, which has been created due to Pakistan's arrogance and Pakistan's funding to the terrorist organization, is also linked with the Western weaponizing ideology?
As you mentioned regarding the Pakistan supporting this, so it was spoken by their I don't remember I guess it was a foreign minister, right, who spoke this in an open interview. Uh,
I am not clear, but I
I
won't
don't
say that
remember.
it is sure.
Yeah, yeah,
He
I
was
don't know
one
the
of the
designation.
officials. He was one of the
Yeah,
officials
yes, he was
in Pakistan military.
one of the high authority officials who spoke this in an open interview, and clips are all over the internet. You can find from news channel sources and all. You can just check it out. Uh, he said कि yes, Pakistan is supporting this terror group since 3 decades. I will just mention it again. 3 decades. 3 decades. What one decade is 10 years. Three is 30 years.
which
If
also
you can take,
includes the previous wars we have fought with Pakistan.
yes, that's very much true. 3 years, 30 years is like we currently it's 2025. The count given is just a ये इंटरव्यू में इतना दिया है. उसके पहले भी बहुत सारी चीजें हुई. India has fought wars with Pakistan, the 1962 war, and other wars related 1970 के आजू बाजू जो एक वॉर हुई थी. एंड ऑल्सो जब ईस्ट पाकिस्तान जब देयर वर टेंशंस रिगार्डिंग दैट, तभी भी एक वॉर इंडिया ने लड़ी थी पाकिस्तान के साथ. एंड उसका एक इंसिडेंट मेरे को याद है. तब पाकिस्तानी एयरफोर्स ने इंडियन एयरफोर्स के जो ट्रैक्स होते, they were destroyed by them during that area, that moment of time. So this and 30 years तो बस उससे that higher official spoke. India has been suffering by the actions and the support of the Pakistan to terrorist groups along back that. I would say like the right moment after the independence, like there were many issues being India has faced in the border sides. Uh, yeah,
Okay, so the next question regarding the entire Kashmir issue is it is actually a question which has been asked by every citizen of India: is war really required, or if it is required, is it economically feasible for India to go a long-lived war against Pakistan so that it can completely dominate? Since I think it should be the last war India should have with Pakistan, and India should focus on more other things which other problems which India actually has. It has domestic problems, it has corruption problems, it has monetary problems, it has poverty problems, it has also problems with China and other countries. It should maintain its relation with them. I think this should be if the war commence, then it should be the last war that should happen between Pakistan and India. So that's why I used to complete domination of the country. That's the word I used, and that's the reason I said that word. So, do you think that India should go to war with Pakistan for complete domination?
see, for before answering your question, I would just say one thing. No matter what the reason, war कभी होनी नहीं चाहिए, because a war is not good for anyone, not even for the powerful nation which is dominating on the weakest. Not even obviously it is never good for the weakest one. But thing is, according to the consequences or the situation which has been arise since recent days, there have been news that the US fleet of fighter jets have arrived India, as well as the Russian fighter jets. Russian fleet, I'm not telling 1 2 jets, but a reason I'm telling using the word fleets because they are +5 in numbers. So fleet उसको ही बोलते हैं. So आए हैं इंडिया पे. They have arrived. Also, since when this attack happened, even Vice President was present in India. So for his security, US government had sent its special other security forces for the making uh, for securing the US Vice President, as well as apart from this, all the security forces in Kashmir. Even this was a statement given by the central government. Now, this is a closely related to the answer. Central government to the armed forces, उनको अपने free will पे छोड़ा है. उनको full support है government से to take any action if needed at the ground moment. Rather than first contacting them, they have their own free will to take an action on the spot. Consider any of the security forces present in Kashmir right now. It was a statement. This has come in the newspapers also. People can check it out. It's available all over the
So
news
that means
channel sites. And
if army officials want, they can entirely infiltrate the POK right now.
yeah, so basically, this statement given by the government, this meant because once this incident happened, when the security was very much tightened, was very tight in Kashmir, there was small firings happening at the LOC. Obviously, सामने से start हुआ था पहले, so obviously we are not gonna be quiet. Even the uh, Indian forces present, Indian Army forces as well as the BSF present over there have exchanged fires, and वो अभी भी शायद चल ही रहे हैं. Every day in the news की fires cross हो रहे हैं. तो ये सब होने के बाद द गवर्नमेंट गेव अ स्टेटमेंट कि इन केस दे ट्राई टू गो मोर अहेड, सो यू हैव देयर ओन विल, यू कैन take it ahead. So it's like full support for the Indian armed forces present in that state. from the government side. So it won't because पहले कैसा होता था कि भाई आपको ऑर्डर्स का वेट करना पड़ता था, ऑर्डर्स के वेट करने के चक्कर में everything just gets destroyed. Here the security forces are given a full will. So as the statement you mentioned कि do we need a war with the because of the consequence, तो एक अंदाजा तो इससे मालूम पड़ जाता है कि if they try to go more and they try to enter the territory of India, obviously Indian army is not going to leave them. Not obviously not by in a non-violent way. I'm talking about in a violent way. What actions would be taken by Indian army to give them the lesson? I would use the word lesson. Uh, okay, and also INS Vikrant and other Indian Navy vessels have been reached close to the Pakistani international waters. That is the international boundary, the ocean present near Gujarat side. They have been present over there since days. As soon as this happened, INS Vikrant was deployed over there as well, along with, and it's a INS, it's a aircraft carrier, right? Just giving a note, people who don't know what is an aircraft carrier. An aircraft carrier is a navy vessel which consists of fighter jets, troops, as well as it's a warship, complete full-fledged warship. It is present over there. Not only that, the other small Indian Navy vessels are also there. Few other were also deployed. I might not remember the names, and they have started testing, fire testing in the waters, and they are very close to the international borders of Pakistan. Means means they can easily they are in the range of launching anything if any order came from the thing, as well as these were the things which are take actions, I would say, which can we lead, which can say, और इस सब से मालूम पड़ता है कि the how the situation is और हम कितने close है war पे. But as you mentioned
Okay.
कि war होनी चाहिए कि नहीं, obviously that's in the hands of government and what the decision they take, as well as the international thing. You mentioned international pressure, obviously. We need to make good relations, maintain good relations, but if and whatever decision the country takes, they have the support from the top highest countries. I would say developed countries. I would mention like Russia, US, France, European countries, and they have a good stance at United Nations. Like also, the statement has came from United Nations to dash these issues should be taken de-escalation करने के लिए. Even the U.S. Secretary of State mentioned this uh, in a news. It has came in news. You can check it out. The statement. Also, the neighboring country of India, that is China, has spoken. An unbiased probe has to be taken. They will conduct? They themselves will conduct regarding this. Uh, it has came out in news regarding this. Unbiased, basically they meant कि no violent way should be taken. But obviously if अगर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन, अगर उनके कंट्री पे ऐसा होता तो क्या वो ये अप्रोच फॉलो करते नॉन वायलेंट वाला?
That's the next question I'm going to ask. Not exactly
Hmm.
that question, but my question is that since the entire armed force attention has been diverted to Pakistan right now, so would China take advantage of that and try to get the control of Northeast Indian states?
See, as you spoke a statement that entire armed force तो नहीं बोल सकते because India really has a good army, armed forces strengths including all the three domains, and where there are various hierarchy sections over there. And obviously Indian is जो attention उधर गया है, obviously they have thought of this part also, जो Indian authorities ने सोचा रहेगा because north eastern countries में भी Indian states में भी ये सब issues है with respect to other the neighboring, as well as there are talks that Bangladesh के officials are talking with Chinese officials. वो भी चल ही रहे तो उधर भी tensions है. So obviously we are taking care of everything, but according to the situation over here, I don't think China would take a step like that because jitna according to the history of the world, if you check it out, China is a smart nation, smart country, I would say, in terms of you take any sector, obviously they have done atrocities, but the reason I'm telling this because whatever they do, they don't have a single angle view before they take an action. They think there are historical examples you might can check. Everyone can check who was listening to this. So I don't think currently they would try to make heat up the moment because all other world nations and powerful nations are in support to it, India. Uh, thing is, if they took any this thing, there would be really great tensions in the United Nations. The obviously because there are developed nations with us, आई एम नॉट यूजिंग डेवलपिंग, डेवलपिंग तो है ही अपने साथ, डेवलप्ड की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं। तो आप समझ सकते हो कि द पीपल हु हैव अ रियली गुड स्टांस, गुड वैल्यू एंड वोटिंग पावर इन द यूनाइटेड नेशंस, वीटो पावर जिसमें से फ्रांस आ गया, रशिया आ गया, यूएस आ गया, तीन वीटो तो उधर ही हो गए। तो इट्स मतलब दे हैव द पावर लाइक सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल एंड वो सब में। तो आप सोच लो कि कितना डिप्लोमेटिक और कितना इशू हो सकता है अगर चाइना ने वो स्टेप लिया। तो आई डोंट थिंक दैट वुड हैपन इन द रिसेंट मोमेंट बिकॉज ऑफ द जो फोकस शिफ्ट हुआ है अपना उधर। सो आई डोंट थिंक चाइना वुड टेक एनी स्टेप। ऑब्वियसली दे आर क्लोजली ऑब्जर्विंग, they are preparing, they would be preparing, god knows what's going on there, but they are closely observing the thing, because as I mentioned, they really have minds like to think in terms of every perspective. So yeah, that was me on that.
ठीक है, सिंस अभी हम लोगों ने आई थिंक जियोपॉलिटिकल चीजें तो कवर कर ली है, सो
Mm-hmm.
लेट्स कम बैक टू द डोमेस्टिक और यू आई वुड से द इंडियन लेवल पे जो चीजें चल रही है अभी रिगार्डिंग आफ्टर व्हाट एवर हैपेंड पहलगाम में,
Yeah,
उसके जो रिpercussions थे या फिर जो उनका इंटेंशन था साइकोलॉजिकल स्कार एंड टू रेज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक, मुझे थैंक यू कहना है सारे ऑडियंसेस को या जो भी ये सुन रहे हैं, दैट अनदर 1992 वाला जैसा दंगल हुआ था वैसा हुआ नहीं। में पीपल हैव बिकम स्मार्ट, दे हैव बिकम यू नो वाइज कि हमें एक्चुअली क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एक्चुअली रेज करनी चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए। सो आई हैव अ बिग थैंक यू फॉर योर
I
नो,
would
बट
also
देयर आर सम।
express my, yeah, I would also express my gratitude to the people of the country to take actions wisely. As you mentioned, जो पहले हुआ था वैसा नहीं हुआ. Also, uh, gratitude to every citizen present in the country supporting the actions taken by the government, as well as the locals over there where this attack took place. They are in closely coordination, as well as the state government, like is the Kashmir government, also working side by side with central government, and they also have taken their uh, actions against this. So it's a big thing that people have became wise. They have went beyond any particular section. For example, I would just pick it out. They have went beyond a particular caste, religion. उससे ऊपर सोच के ऐसा humanitarian perspective से सोच के they have thought and जो देश के भलाई के लिए what is for the benefit or the mutual benefit of the country, वो सोच के really thankful that there were no serious complications internally because of the attack happened. So yeah, you can continue now.
बट जैसे लाइक देयर आर 99 पीपल हु आर स्मार्ट, देयर इज स्टिल वन पर्सन हु विल बी एन इडियट। वैसे ही देश में कुछ
Obviously.
अभी भी कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं which are creating or at least trying to create a conflict, like you said.
Yeah, what I was, yeah, as you mentioned something about like internal things, so I had seen this in news. I would give you both the aspects जो मैंने देखे, मतलब उस पे सब चीज कवर हो जाएगी. First thing, उधर there were clips outside. Clips are available on the internet. People can check them out. Clips outside. The locals were standing with the. But now question क्या पूछ के मारा था? Religion पूछ के मारा था, right? तो क्या religion का आंसर दिया जब जो उनको गोली मारी गई? They spoke Hindu, right? So there were Hindus standing with Muslims in the कश्मीर एंड इंटरव्यूज, इंटरव्यूज मतलब जो न्यूज चैनल्स उधर थी तो उधर बोला था कि जो लोकल्स का सपोर्ट आई वाज एज आई एम टॉकिंग राइट, so Hindus were saying that the locals who were present, no matter the caste and anything, they were helping and they are still helping because भाई आम इंसान भी पीसी चाहता है राइट. You ask any human on this world who is actually considered to be a human, जो इंसान की तरह सोचता है कि क्या उनको वॉर चाहिए, क्या उनको कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चाहिए. नो, locals का सपोर्ट था. नो मैटर, आई वुड नॉट बी स्पेसिफिक टू एनी रिलीजन, बट सब जितने भी लोग उधर रहते हैं लोकल्स एनीवन द उनका सपोर्ट था. बट on opposite side there were some negative impacts of the बहुत सारे, that was a deep negative impact. नेगेटिव भी बहुत छोटा वर्ड बोल रहा हूँ अटैक का, बट ये मैंने न्यूज में सुना था कि किसी के घर पे टेक्नीशियंस आए थे. दिस इज अ न्यूज आउट, यू कैन पीपल कैन चेक इट आउट, इट्स फ्रॉम अ सोर्सेज. न्यूज मिल जाएगा आप सर्च करोगे तो कहीं कहीं पे. तो टेक्नीशियंस आए थे, तो जो जिसके घर पे आए थे उन्होंने पूछा आप कौन से, आपका नाम क्या है. तो नाम से मालूम पड़ा था कि देवर मुस्लिम्स एंड उनको अंदर नहीं आने दिया, बोले कि हिंदू टेक्नीशियंस को भेजो, फिर ही हम हमारे घर में वो काम होने देंगे. सो ये अभी थिंग इज ये हुआ, वी दिस इज आई वोंट सपोर्ट दिस वाला थिंग बिकॉज इट लीव्स अ नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट ऑन द पीपल. वो एक माइंडसेट चेंज करने मतलब वो होगा कि पीपल आर डिवाइडिंग इन नाउ टू थिंग्स, लाइक जो ब्रिटिशर्स ने डिवाइड एंड रूल कॉन्सेप्ट यूज किया था, जिसकी वजह से दे हैव रूल्ड इंडिया फॉर रियली मोर देन 150 years accurately if I spoke 200 something. डिवाइड एंड रूल कंसेप्ट जो फर्स्ट शुरू बंगाल में हुआ था, धीरे धीरे वो वाइड स्प्रेड हुआ कंट्री में ब्रिटिशर्स के। हाँ, तो अभी भी इस अटैक से, एज आई मेंशन, जो मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया कि आप उन्होंने पूछा, एंड मैंने सुना भी है कुछ लोगों से, मैं मेरे जिधर रहता हूँ, कि वो लोग भी पूछे कि कुछ चीज़ लेने से पहले ये पूछना चाहिए आप कौन से उसके हो। बट एक चीज़ मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि भाई एक कुछ स्पेसिफिक लोगों की ये दिस इज फॉर इन ये जो स्टेटमेंट है वो एवरी कॉन्टेक्स्ट, नॉट ओनली द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ दिस अटैक, एवरी कॉन्टेक्स्ट भाई। 4-5 लोगों की गलती की वजह से, चलो ना, 5-10 लोगों की गलती की वजह से आप हजारों लोग को ब्लेम नहीं कर सकते, राइट? So that is wrong. So these are the
और
negative impacts.
या ये हो गई
Yeah,
अभी
yeah.
जो पब्लिक वाली चीज है, जो एक पब्लिक
Hmm.
में डर बैठ गया है, और आई विल से काइंड ऑफ
हाँ,
कम्युनलिज्म का ही पार्ट वो बोलूंगा मैं, एक बिगर अम्ब्रेला के अंदर में डालता हूँ उस चीज को मैं। बट देर आर आल्सो सम थिंग्स
हम्म,
कि जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स और जो सिस्टम के जो पार्ट है वो भी लोग कर रहे हैं। जैसे कि छत्तीसगढ़ में एक न्यूज आई थी कि 159 स्टूडेंट्स को नमाज पढ़ा फोर्सफुली नमाज पढ़ाने लगाया, जिसमें से सिर्फ 4 मुस्लिम थे। now the problem is not कि उन्होंने नमाज पढ़ाने लगाया, the problem is कि forcefully means a person is not willing to do that thing irrespective of their choices or irrespective of their beliefs, but they are not willing to do that thing। जो कर रहे थे, नो प्रॉब्लम, बट अगर कर रहे होते तो देन इट विल बी नो प्रॉब्लम, बट दे वर फोर्स टू डू इट। सो ये अभी वो 4 पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को इंक्वायरी में पकड़ लिया गया। बट स्टिल व्हाट डू यू थिंक, व्हाट आर योर ओपिनियंस ऑन दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग? बिकॉज ऐसा भी हम कुछ केसेस ऐसे भी
see,
देखते हैं, कुछ
on
केसेस
this,
ऐसे भी देखते हैं। वी शुड डिस्कस बोथ द केसेस आई थिंक।
obviously, we are not, because this conversation what we're having is to spread awareness to people about what is right and what is wrong. So as you mentioned, regarding the news happened in Chhattisgarh, so वो बहुत ही गलत चीज़ थी, because इंडिया इज अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री, आप किसी को किसी भी चीज़ के लिए फोर्स नहीं कर सकते। ये तो बहुत, ये तो रिलीजन रिलेटेड चीज़ था, एंड इंडियन सिटीजन हैव देयर फंडामेंटल राइट्स ऑफ आर्टिकल, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम आर्टिकल 25-26, वो उनको हक देता है कि वो अपना रिलीजन चूज कर सकते हैं, वो कौन सा किनको किनको मानना है वो कर सकते हैं। बट सिंस आई एम टेलिंग दिस, मैं एक और स्टेटमेंट कहना चाहूंगा कि आप भले ही आपके पास आपके राइट्स है, बट दैट डज नॉट गिव यू राइट टू disrespect any religion. So people who are watching this session, keep a one thing in mind, आप करते रहोगे तो आप जरूर करो, और जो नहीं करते, आई वुड बी थैंकफुल टू देम कि वो नहीं करते, कि भले आप किसी रिलीजन को नहीं मानते, किसी भी चीज को आप नहीं मानते, बट आप उनकी डिसरिस्पेक्ट या इंसल्ट ना करें। भाई वो उनका है, उनके कल्चर है, आइडियोलॉजी है, किसी भी, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, आपको नहीं अच्छा लगता आप ना करिए, बट आप डिसरिस्पेक्ट ना करें, या किसी एक ये टेंशन अभी जैसा न्यूज हुआ वैसे ही कोई, आई वुड जस्ट यूज दैट हिंदी वर्ड, ऐसी कोई हरकत ना करे, बिकॉज अब सबके पास अपने अपने राइट्स है, दे हैव द राइट टू लिव, एंड सही सभी चीज अपने उनके लोगों की, आप जो आपको आपको नहीं मानना है मत मानो। बेसिक एग्जांपल, अगर मेरे को मैच नहीं देखनी है क्रिकेट की, मतलब कोई भी स्पोर्ट नहीं अच्छा लगता, तो मैं क्या वो स्पोर्ट बंद करवा दूंगा? मैं नहीं खेलूंगा, दैट्स ऑल, दैट्स सिंपल। think wisely rather than thinking from any perspective, wisely सोचो। now coming back to the news which you mentioned, तो ये कि भाई एवरीवन हैज द राइट, तो आप उसको वायलेट कर रहे हो पहली बार, और फंडामेंटल राइट को वायलेट नहीं कर सकता, इट इज ऑब्जेक्शनेबल, मतलब इट इज एनफोर्सेबल इन केस एवरी इफ इट इज वायलेटेड, इवन इफ इट इज अ माइनर थिंग, एंड इफ इट इज कम्स अंडर फंडामेंटल राइट्स, आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट तुरंत जा सकते हो, एंड दे विल हियर योर व्यू, एंड एक्शन शुड बी टेकन। बट दिस वाज अ वेरी रॉन्ग स्टेप टेकन, फोर्सफुली किसी को नहीं करवाना चाहिए। उनसे अगर वो अलाउ करे तो ठीक है, तो कोई इशू नहीं है, अगर ना अलाउ करे तो कोई नहीं, बड़े ही शांतिपूर्वक तरीके से वो चीज़ सुधरी। बट ये फोर्सफुली अप्लाई किया, तो ये एक चीज़, ये बहुत बोलते हैं ना कि एक नेगेटिव थॉट क्रिएट करता है जिन पे हुआ कि भाई हमको फोर्सफुली करवा रहे हैं, वो स्प्रेड होते होते लोगों में स्प्रेड होता है, जिसकी वजह से एज यू मेंशन कम्युनलिज्म, कुछ आइडियोलॉजीज, कम्युनल बेसिकली किसी दो चीज में लोगों को बांट देना, वैसे डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बोल सकता हूँ मैं, अब एक्चुअली आई वुड से। कि ये नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज भाई नो मैटर व्हाट ये अटैक हुआ, अगर अटैक नहीं भी होता स्टिल ये चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो दिस इज अ थिंग टू ऑल वन हु आर हियर लिसनिंग टू अस कि भाई डोंट डिवाइड ऑन एनी बेसिस, वी ऑल आर इंडियंस, we should live by unity and harmony among each other, by maintain brotherhood rather than creating dividing people, उससे अच्छा unite करो। And yeah,
Thank you, Yash.
as you I just one thing I have one thing, as you mentioned this news, has छत्तीसगढ़ में तो किस has any official authorities did anything on this, मतलब उधर से कुछ actions किए थे, लिए गए थे क्या because of this?
इंक्वायरी जो चार पुलिस ऑफिसर्स ने जो ये हरकत की थी उन लोग को इंक्वायरी में लिया गया है। आई एम नॉट श्योर उनके उसके आगे कुछ न्यूज मिली नहीं, उस पे कुछ इन्फो मिली नहीं। मोस्ट प्रोबेबली जैसे नॉर्मली चीजें इंडिया में चल रही है आज की, वैसे ही कुछ तो हुआ होगा। लाइक इंक्वायरी हुई होगी, दे वुड हैव टेकन सम सस्पेंशन, अगर कुछ एक्शंस लिए होंगे तो सस्पेंड किया होगा या फिर समथिंग सिमिलर टू दैट। या फिर एज यू नो करप्शन भी बहुत चल रहा है इंडिया में, so they
हम्म
may have gotten a clean sheet on that. I don't know. I haven't got any news. It's just a speculation. I just mentioned what I read in the newspaper. Although newspaper are also not completely reliable, so I did my research on that, and I find the same thing, which make me more, uh, intrigued to discuss this question in this session. So that's why I raised this question. Nothing else. So thanks, Yash, for this session.
हम्म।
Thank you.